Hello, Hogziller here again. And in today's video, I'm going to give my informal tips and tricks guide to completing the Tropico 6 mission called Take Me Out to the Ball Game, or alternatively, it might just be listed as Ball Game. I'm doing this just as an informal walkthrough of the existing video that I have uploaded. So I might be pausing it a couple times through the mission, just if there's something that rapidly occurred. So this might be actually longer than the actual time it took me to complete this mission. But let's go ahead and get started. There's a number of items that you're going to want to pre-build when doing this mission. So the first thing we're going to want to do is max out the dock, and then go ahead and start importing gold. It's actually going to be needed later for jewelry production, so I just kind of want to get a head start of building up that gold reserve. I'm also going to bring in an import of rubber for the vehicle factory, as there's not enough on the island. So now I'm just maxing out all the buildings, including the Teamsters, Mines, Vehicle, and Steel Mill, including changing the work mode on the Steel Mill. I'm also increasing the library and the construction budget and upgrade options. I'm going to increase the observation for the Spy Academy. And now what I'm doing here is I'm placing the watchtowers near key high traffic points. And the reason I'm doing that is because coupled along with security checkpoint, watchtowers will uncover hidden roles of your citizens, which is going to be key because they want you to discover 9 sports talent Tropican citizens coming up, and having them near the docks when you have people coming onto your island is key. So I just build the 4 watchtowers and the 4 security checkpoints near high traffic areas, and I build a few more than needed checkpoints. And maxing the budget would help on those, though I don't know if I did that in this video. One key thing is do not set your military mode to pacifist, or else those watchtowers aren't going to work. Hopefully later on in the scenario, you should get a faction demand that requires you to change the Constitution, and then that'll unlock the Constitution to go and change it from militia to pacifist state. Then after you have got the nine sports talent Tropicans discovered. So I'm just going to go ahead and set the rest of my Constitution options. So now this is what I was talking about. Get 9 sports talent team members, and then bribe them. And then they go to the palace to get bribed. In the meantime, I'm going to start building up my tourist infrastructure with economy hotels. I'm going to take the existing touristy items and make them all tourist only for the people that want to use them, so that I can charge more. I'm going to build a snorkel bay because there's going to be a requirement later to have a minimum number of luxury buildings or tourist buildings, so I'm just going to build a snorkel bay since they bring in a lot of money. I'm setting the edicts of economy hotel, employee, the penal colony, the loans, and then I forgot what I selected for the last one there. And I don't want to back this up, as this video is going to be long enough as is. I think it might have been right to arms, because that might be key. So now I'm just building metro to get the people to move across the island more efficiently. Max out the nuclear plant because we're going to need it. We're also going to need a solar plant later. I issued the loans so I can have some more money in, and then build the hang gliding to get some free money there. I set my hotel rooms. That was key right there, actually. I'm just going to back that up. Set economy hotel to half rooms. That way you can get more people on your island, and then that'll get more people to the stadium, which we're going to build later, and more people to use the tourist-only facilities. So I'm just going to do some cleanup here, get the mine staked correctly. I'm just waiting for the 9 sports talent. I'm going to actually start bribing them now to get a head start on it. You just need to have the money. You can see it costs a lot of money to bribe all these. I got the hang gliding, set that to tourist only, and now I think I'm going to build the research lab, which is key because there will be a knowledge-based quest later. 15,000, so you want to build the research lab. Get your college built since they're going to ask for it anyway. Then get your asylum built. It's going to be a requirement to take 9 tourists and throw them in the asylum with the upgrade option selected. And sometimes I forget to do that right away, and then it tells me I need to do that before proceeding. So I got the research lab complete. I'm doing observation raids with my spy academy to kind of complete out finding the 9 sports talent people. So I'm just going to bribe a few more here. This should get me to 9 or 10. I always like to do 1 or 2 more in case there's people on the other end of the island and it'll be a long walk for them. And when you're in speed running, you want to try and save time, so it's worth it to bribe a few extra. At least on easy mode, you don't need to worry about setting the Constitution back. There's a low chance of the rebels attacking. And if the rebels do attack, that's the death note to your tourists because they'll all leave the island. So that's why you don't want the rebels to attack. As you saw right there, I built a few more economy hotels just so I can get more people on the island so that they continue to use more of the facilities and bring in more money. So at this point, we're going to start looking at getting tourists to visit the island. We need to build the stadium. We got to hire immigrants. How you do this is fire and rehire at the college, cathedral, and asylum. That's more than 10 that is required. And that should fulfill that quest. Then you want to start building the stadium once you have the money. And set that to tourist only. Because they're going to want at least 60 tourists to visit the stadium. Build, if you can, build some more economy hotels, but don't overdo it. You will need the facilities like a golf course, the pier, the restaurant, and stuff like that for them to go to. I just wanted to pause it there and note that I put 2 police stations not connected to the road next to the stadium because one of the future quests after this is to have a crime safety rating of between 80 and 100. So putting the 2 police stations there, while I could connect them, which would kind of help, but I just need 2 police stations next to the stadium for the crime rating. Plus, there's a requirement on the stadium to build 2 government buildings. So I'm basically killing 2 birds with 1 stone here by building the 2 government buildings of police station near the stadium. So we're just going to let this play on for a little bit here as we get our 400 tourists. Make sure that if you haven't already, max out your docks so that you get the tourist boat to show up a lot. Set up your ancient ruins as they request, and then have the chairlift I made a little mistake there in the video by doing Metro Station, and that was a mistake there on my part. So I just select the chairlift now. And this is always a tough one to kind of get it into by the palace. So now I'm just waiting for the 60 stadium visitors, which should happen any second now. I'm going to start pre-building the jewelry at this point. Because now I've been mining gold and I imported gold. And there's going to be a requirement to build 1,000 jewelry.
It's game day, President.
So there's the request now to institutionalize 9 tourists. So I just pick 9 people at random since it only costs $25. Just pick 9 people.
Worth every cent. I'll work on my tan.
And that is complete. Now you need to build your cyber operations center, which if I would have been smart, I would have probably pre-built it to save a little bit of time. So I quick built it. And now I'm trying to get the jewelry built up because that's a requirement also. If I once again was smart, I would have probably pre-built it a little sooner. I'm going to build my solar plant just to have enough power for everything. With the cyber operations center, at least I'm building up some numbers of raid points because there's going to be a raid that you're going to need to complete for this scenario after you get the 1,000 in jewelry. I don't want to pre-build and have jewelry running ahead of time because then the workers are everywhere. If I can build and time out jewelry just right, they can all show up at the same time and get to that 1,000 quickly. So now that you completed that, there's a raid of take me out to the ballpark or something like that that the Cyber Operations Center needs to complete. So go ahead and select that raid and wait for all your raiders to show up. So we're just waiting here for all the raiders to show up, and you're gonna get a couple quick
As a captain
demands. Sometimes in speed running on the hard level, you'll get a wait 540 days, which is just a speed running death note. So if you get that, your speed run is done. But you'll usually get, and you usually always get, this acquire knowledge, which actually it was 9,001. I thought it was 15,000, so I misspoke there. But once you have the 9,001, which you should have more than enough, go ahead and take that. Then you might get a couple different options here. I mentioned the wait X number of days. Another one is the spend money or drop off pharmaceuticals. There's a couple other ones they might ask for wool and money, or they might ask to double the power output. And the only way you complete that demand is if you have enough to accommodate the Cyber Operations Center doubling its power output. In this case, I got off pretty easy. I'll just pay the 15,000 and just wait a couple more seconds here, and you'll see that the line is moving across real quick. Once you get that, you'll get a few more pop-ups, and then you'll win the map. So we're just waiting here, nervously waiting, and now we have completed the demand on the raid. Quest is complete for the Tropican Players raid, and now you win the match, or win the scenario. So that is actually a quick informal discussion on how to complete Take Me Out to the Ball Game, or it might also be listed as Ballgame. If you like these kind of videos, press that like button. If you have an alternative way or you have questions on how to complete this scenario, leave a comment below and please consider subscribing. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.